against me, Mr. Bunny. Your own inexperience in handling a siege situation might possibly come under scrutiny. You'll get copies of my report. Good morning. Morning.
What the hell do you two think you're playing at? She saw extensive bruising to his face, arms and upper neck.
Wait, he was brought in like that.
So she's filed a complaint against this department, of which, in case you'd not bloody noticed, I am head.
Apparently, while younger women reject their so-called feminine values, more mature ladies still believe in a women's traditional caring, nurturing role. No sniggering, please.
Here to put such claims into a perspective is Alix Kirsta, who's author of Deadlier Than the Male, and the real-life policewoman, Helen Mirren's character, Jane Tennison, was based on Detective Chief Inspector Jackie Malton. Good morning.
Morning.
So, Jackie, it really was you, then?
Well...
As it were.
It was a lot of me, condensed into 4 hours, over 20 years it was, and I just think that she portrayed it brilliantly, Helen Mirren, I have to say.
So have you had to be very, very tough, almost tougher than the men, in order to survive?
Yes, I am a survivor, and I think that I had to be tough. For some of the things I actually do regret now, but I was always seemed to be in a conflict, had a conflict of messages. There was one that actually I fulfilled the stereotype of what they wanted. And on the other hand, there was this part of me that was quite aggressive that said to me that I could actually do it. And so there was always this conflict, and I had a kind of a doubting Thomas on my shoulder sometimes that said to me, you know, when I heard people say, well, you only got promoted because you're a woman, I'd think, well, did I only get promoted because I was a woman?
Did you make a conscious decision to be aggressive and macho at some stage?
Well, I don't think it was a conscious decision. I think it was innately in me, I have to say. I mean, I was there to survive, because if I hadn't done it that way, you know, I know that I wouldn't have survived.
But when they wanted to go out boozing and telling, you know, bawdy jokes in the pub and things like that, you found yourself, rather than doing what you really wanted to do, which was your own thing, you found yourselves needing to go along with them to prove that you were one of them, even to the point of sort of laughing at the chauvinist jokes.
I did, yes. And those are the things that I regret today, and I think that I didn't have enough faith in myself in those days, which was reinforced by the message that I was getting from men, that I wasn't good enough, or I only got it because I was a woman. And today's different, because, you know, I do believe in myself, and I did get it because I worked hard, and I'm much more comfortable with me now, so I wouldn't have to go down that path of fulfilling their role.
What sort of reaction did you get from the men to your sort of trying to be a lad?
Well, I don't think I think they just accepted me, really. I mean, I think that it was part of the package, that one had to go down of that route. And I'm not saying that they actually said that you had to go down that route, but that's how it felt.
If somewhere along the line, though, you had said, actually, I'm going to take a couple of months off for maternity leave, chaps, what do you think their reaction would have been anywhere along the line?
Oh, they'd have said, told you so. I just told you so, that, you know, if the heat's too hot in the kitchen...
And would their attitude have just changed towards you, do you think?
Oh, definitely. Then, not now, of course, not today, but 20 years ago.
You really think it wouldn't now?
I truly believe it wouldn't. It would be much different today. 20 years ago, by that behaving in the fact of maternity leave, which I would have been entitled to, of course, but it would have just, you know, reinforced their stereotype and their belief, saying, now, do you want to be a police officer, or do you want to be a mum, because you can't do both? Well, of course.
And yet most of them would have been fathers.
Of course.
Now, Alix, is the image of women changing? Are they becoming more aggressive, or were they always aggressive underneath?
Women have inherently always had the same capacity for aggression and for violence as men have had throughout the millennia. I mean, it is part of the human evolutionary survival mechanism that we have aggression and violence within us. But we do, of course, live in a culture of machismo, which you've so well described, which openly or tacitly condones and also, in a sense, promotes male violence, male misogyny and male aggression. And I think that confronted with this male culture, this machismo culture, women who are now on an equal footing with men and more coming into the workforce and also entering a lifestyle which is much more shoulder to shoulder conducted with men, it's very hard for women even to legitimately express assertiveness, authority, power, and express quite legitimately again their feelings of anger, frustration and disapprobation where it's quite necessary and part of their job, in a way that will be regarded as appropriate, because I think still society regards this as threatening and unacceptable in women.
Do they do it in a different way? Do they show aggression differently?
I think that some unfortunately, do tend to rather confuse, because of often inherent lack of self-confidence and also a lack of esteem, a sense of inadequacy, they will tend to confuse assertiveness with aggression. So women start predominantly from feelings of dislike, frustration, anger, quite legitimately, but they will express it in a way that comes out as possibly rather defensive, rather hostile, rather aggressive, and it will actually misfire and it will backfire and come back against themselves.
A lot of people,
that's a problem.
A lot of people say that women, when they are tough, are much nastier than men who are
They
tough.
often can be. I quite agree, and we're seeing it now amongst very, very young girls, that the acts of violence, particularly that are being committed by, say, girl bullies in school, torturing their schoolmates, or girl gangs, or even women who just, in their relationships with men, with their boyfriends or their husbands, who physically assault them. And also, let's face it,
As a
physically assault
police
their
officer,
children.
you must have experience of that too. Is it
Can women be nastier, Jackie?
Oh, blimey. So nasty. I don't think I'm nasty. And what I have actually picked up, what Alix said, I have to say that there are more men becoming victims of domestic violence, and I see that on the increase. I'm not too sure. I think women are more assertive, and I think they're coming in and they're thinking that they have the rights, and of course they have the right to achieve what they want. I mean, in my time, I was always seemed to be grateful, well, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, but now they're from the position of, I'm entitled to have that opportunity from the very beginning, and therefore they can go for it. And I'm not too sure that that's being nasty, I just think that's being more assertive of their own rights.
Would you prefer your boss to be a man or a woman? Or is that a grossly sexist question?
Well, I think I think we have to look at all of the skills. I mean, personally, my own personal opinion is I would rather work with women all of the time.
What do you think, Alix?
I think, well, I personally have come across some extremely bolshy and aggressive women bosses, women in high positions. But I have to say that they have very often acted from a position of power and authority, and a lot of what they have said and done have been quite legitimate. You couldn't take issue with the way they did it, and had they been men, nobody would have batted an eyelid. Unfortunately, because they're women,
I suppose.
they're still regarded as hard bitches.
Well, what do you think? Are women starting to behave as badly as men? Do women need to copy men to succeed? Do call us on 0121 415 5000, and we'd like to hear your thoughts. Meanwhile, many thanks to Alix and Jackie. Time to talk money now. We've all seen the adverts recently for amazingly cheap mortgages, but according to Good Morning's money expert, Alison Mitchell, if you're paying an average mortgage, you're probably paying too much. In fact, your fixed-rate mortgage may be subsidising other people's discounts. Alison's with Nick now to tell him more.